everyone, Nyonstar here, and I'd say I'm a pretty weird person. When I say weird, I just mean acting out of societal norms. A lot of the things I discuss in this video could be signs/symptoms of being neurodivergent, and I'm not trying to say these things are wrong or bad. I've long suspected that I'm neurodivergent, at least in some way, but I can't afford to get an official diagnosis right now. The first thing I'd like to discuss is the clothes I wear. I wear only skirts and dresses. I can wear leggings and such under a dress, but I feel extremely uncomfortable in pants or shorts or leggings by themselves. I would throw tantrums as a kid whenever I was forced into wearing pants. I think my parents gave up on that front after kindergarten. I still feel uncomfortable in pants and all that. My legs are pretty thick, so pants are now even more uncomfortable than before. I don't think I even own any pants anymore. I still like skirts though. Speaking of clothes, I am very picky with my textures. I'm very sensitive to itchy clothes. There have been plenty of times where I find a piece of clothing I like, but it's itchy and I can't wear it. Itchy clothing makes me want to tear the skin right off my bones. It's more than just disliking the feeling. It's a deep discomfort that makes me want to die on the spot. I used to cry and scream as a kid when I was forced into itchy clothing. I've been researching what materials are itchy or not, and the best non-itchy material seems to be cotton. So if you suffer from this too, there's my best recommendation. Next is my nails. I have pretty long nails. At first it was just normal. No one ever cut my nails, so they'd just grow out. But when my mom inevitably tried to cut them, it was hell. I hated the feeling of getting my nails cut, and since I was uncomfortable, my mom ended up cutting the skin under my nails, which made it even more uncomfortable. When I stopped obsessing over rabbits, I started obsessing over cats. And with cats, cutting their nails is very painful for them. They do need to be trimmed, but there's blood inside most of their nails. I related to that, so I just said that cutting my nails hurts, just like cats. Speaking of cats, someone's licking plastic over there. I still don't really trim my nails down. I'm so used to having longer nails that it feels really weird when they're short. I use my nails to type, scrape things off, peel things apart, and all kinds of things. I regularly clean them, even though kids used to bully me for having dirty nails, even when they were fine. My nails usually just wear down, and I just tear them off. Are they uneven as hell? Yeah, but I don't really care about those kinds of things. I've never been a nail biter, but I do try to bite off jagged edges when the nail gets torn off. The next weird thing I do is carrying around a stuffed animal. As a kid, I was always carrying around a stuffed animal. I would switch them out every now and then when I grew attached to a new toy. Then on Christmas in 2012, I got a stuffed rabbit of the logo for Lego Duplo. I named her Duplo, and I carried her around everywhere. And I haven't stopped. That's right, I'm an adult who still carries around a stuffed animal. Granted, I usually keep her in a bag when I go out. This isn't because I'm embarrassed, but because I don't want to accidentally lose her. I carry her around with me everywhere, so it's abnormal to have my hands empty. I get very panicky when I lose her somewhere, or when someone takes her from me. She's a huge comfort for me. Hell, she's in my lap as I write this, and she probably will be when I go and record. I want to make a whole video about Duplo, but I want to get her patched up first. When I was a kid, I loved baths. I know that's apparently pretty abnormal for kids. I would bathe like 3 times a week as a kid. The notable weird thing is how I ended every bath. I would say, "Bye-bye water, see you next bath." I assumed as a kid that every bath I took was the exact same water, but cleaned. It became such a habit that I still say this when I drain the tub. Same exact tone, too. I had a lot of nightmares as a kid. Dealing with trauma from a young age just does that to you, I guess. But anyway, I didn't get a ton of good dreams. Around 1st or 2nd grade, it had gotten particularly bad. A mix of trauma and watching creepypasta content kept giving me hellish nightmares. I mentioned this to a girl while washing our hands in the bathroom, and she gave me some advice. She told me to sleep facing the wall, and I wouldn't have a nightmare. I didn't really believe her, but I tried it anyway. That night, I had no nightmares. And I tried it the next night, and it worked again. To this day, if I sleep facing towards a wall, there's a 99% chance I won't have a nightmare. It's not foolproof, and I tend to toss and turn in my sleep, so I don't face the wall all night anyway, but it was such a godsend. I don't remember who told me this, but if you see this, thank you so much. Now on to a grosser story. I have a very vivid imagination. Ever since I was born, I've used imagination as my main source of entertainment. This is why I don't bring anything with me when I use the bathroom. My thoughts entertain me enough to not use my phone while on the toilet. As a kid, I came up with one story to come back to every time I use the toilet. I would imagine each drop of pee as a soldier jumping down from an aircraft. And whenever there was a few drops left, I imagined them as soldiers who were too reluctant to jump or were too scared. Maybe they were too scared to die. I mean, they had a wife and kids back home. I imagined poop as monsters in the aircraft that the soldiers were running from, even though they don't come out from the same place. So yeah, creating a war drama from using the bathroom is definitely unusual. Back onto something more relatable, I used to eat strange things as a kid. Back when I thought I was a rabbit, I would pick grass and eat it. Honestly, it didn't taste half bad. I moved on to tree leaves next. The trees in our backyard were pretty strange. They had this tang to them and were pretty soft. It felt like they were growing fur, and I got this tingly sensation after I ate them. In hindsight, I'm very lucky they weren't poisonous. Well, they might have been. So I'm lucky nothing bad ever came from eating them. I would also eat paper. I didn't do it a ton, but there were times I partook in munching on wide ruled. When I had rabbits, they loved eating any paper they could get, so I did it too. I also loved the feeling of wet brown paper towels in my mouth, just squeezing water right into my mouth. I also just love the smell of brown paper towels, and only the brown paper towels. The white paper towels just don't do anything for me. I know this next one isn't that unusual, but it was for me growing up. I thrived on being alone. That's right, the online artist is an introvert. Stop the presses! I know most people on the internet are introverts, or at least they say they are, but I didn't really know anyone growing up that wasn't an extrovert. I loved playing by myself a lot, and sometimes I'd just chill at recess. Whenever I asked to just be alone for a while, people would get all offended, like I was lying just to get away from them. I was pretty chatty and friendly in the beginning of elementary school, so people just couldn't comprehend that I liked alone time every now and then. So I'd be pressured into being social, which made me want alone time more. By the time I stopped being social, most people just started ignoring me and left me alone. I remember that when I got in trouble in Miss B's class, she would punish me by putting up a cubicle. It was this plastic wall of 3 squares that she'd put up in front of me. Most of the time she'd even move me to a desk in the corner. Despite being a punishment, I loved when this happened. It kept me focused and calm. I couldn't get distracted if I couldn't see anything. I loved it so much, sometimes I'd ask to be separated with the cubicle up. Once she learned that this wasn't a punishment for me, she stopped doing it. Which is a shame since I worked so much better when I was able to focus. And that's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on about strange things I do. Well, some of these I've stopped doing. I just can't eat grass anymore. My poor tummy is sensitive now. Anyway, if you liked this video, be sure to express it with the thumbs up button down below. And subscribe if you want to see more from me. Be safe and have a wonderful day! Bye!